wankers, and we've got little microphones on, so you won't miss a word we say, especially Murray. We don't want you to miss anything we've got to talk about today. Sorry, I couldn't resist. What we are going to talk about is the rates cap. I find it kind of amusing because it feels like it's stolen a bit of Max's thunder, because central government have stepped in and decided to cap rates at between 2 and 4%, but it won't kick in until 2029. So,
in some ways, though, the central government's just doing
their job.
Max's job for them. So happy days.
Yeah. But the other thing I think that from a layman's point of view, that's me, from my understanding, the reason we got into the situation with the rates being as nasty as they currently are is because previous councils over the years tried to do what the people wanted by keeping the rates down.
Artificially low.
Yep, artificially low, which then screwed up all our water pipes and our infrastructure. And then poor old Neil had to come in and ramp up the rates to cover all the underinvestment.
Neil and almost every other mayor in New Zealand.
There you go. So not just Neil.
No.
So I haven't done any research. Funny that. But Sarah here has. So let's just kind of talk, let's just break it down a little bit. What is this rates cap? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it just the government showing off, going, look at us, we're going to save you money, but not really?
I think the rates cap policy put out by Simon Watson, and I think Bishop was involved, is pure politics.
Yeah, right.
Let's face it. So we'll just back up a little bit and talk about that artificial underinvestment.
Mm-hmm.
Years and years ago, I became a homeowner in, oh gosh.
Careful, you'll show your age.
What, 27? In 2002. And at that point, I was paying around, this was in Westland, and we were paying around $120 a year in regional rates.
Wow.
Yeah, and about $600 or $700 a year in district rates.
Okay.
Admittedly, we had tank water and our own septic tank. However, even at that time, as in my late 20s, I was actually I remember thinking to myself, gosh, these are cheap for what we get.
Yeah.
For all the things we get.
Yeah.
Now we know why they were cheap though, right?
Yes.
So at that time,
because there was years and years and years of underinvestment, wasn't there?
Yeah, so the pipes that were under the ground had been put there 80 years prior, and they were still kind of functioning. Meanwhile, we chose to keep rates artificially low and still invest in all the other things that councils love to do, events and libraries, etc., and so on. And then we fast forward, like you say, the last 3 years has seen huge rate rises. I think the collective
Probably
rate rise has been in the 30%.
Yeah, it's been scary.
So a cumulative year on year. So rates are getting up. And I opened our rate bill this year and it was not that much, not great reading.
No.
You know.
Funny, isn't it? My rates, I open them and go, oh, they're about 37,000 less than I paid last year. But I don't own a motel anymore, so, you know, perspective. But I haven't kind of freaked out over rates because I have been paying.
Well, to be fair, I don't really freak out either. There's 5 of us living in our household and I still considered it reasonably good value.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm a wealthy, privileged person who can easily afford them. What it means is that I understand the value that rates deliver.
For me, I've got to say it's the unfairness of the calculation of the rates that gets me. You know, I live out in where I live now compared to the street that I lived in previously, and they are getting slammed with humongous rate increases, whereas mine are not quite so bad.
Yeah.
And I find that very unfair because I use exactly the same services as somebody does on Beach Street. Just because their house and their land might be worth a little bit more, they're not costing the council any more money.
Yep. And so, you know, the council has an opportunity to do a rating review and fix some of that inequity that's in the system.
They do,
yeah. So we'll fast forward to December 25 and have a look at this idea of a rates cap. What it's doing, it's to me, it's government's way of trying to address the cost of living crisis by pinpointing and blaming and blame shifting.
Yeah,
we've got a cost of living crisis across the board with utility bills going up and food going up and petrol going up and all the things going up. Central government's not exactly doing a great job of keeping their books in order. I just read a headline on the way here actually that we're $700 million short.
Cool.
Thanks, Nicola. I'm not entirely...
We're not going to go down that road because I would say thanks further back for that.
Potentially.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the whole point is central government who've handed down more and more responsibility onto local government year on year are now blaming local government for not being able to rein in rates earlier. at the same time saying, here, you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do this, but also central government's not actually taking responsibility.
Yeah, right.
So they're saying, rein it in. And by the way, you can't raise revenue either in any other way. We're not going to allow you to do a bed tax. We're not going to give back the GST on your rates. We're not going to pay rates on our properties.
And giving back the GST, I know we talked about this in previous videos. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it, to put that back in the region? So you really have to question why central government is putting a stop on that one. And Mo's just about to walk in and join our live video unintentionally, but yep. I'm just sending him off to buying something off Marketplace, much more important than our live video. So you've got lots of moving pieces within this.
Yeah, like if government was to redistribute GST that everyone in our district pays on their rates bill back into our district, they could potentially, council could potentially be looking at a zero rate rise. Yeah,
or they could manage within that 2 to 4% that the government is setting. And
that's
set us
with
back
massive
20,
amounts
30,
of investment.
40 years on the infrastructure.
And so if you're looking, say this council decides to go for 2%, where's it going to come from? Because it can't come from water. So water's exempt. So water's going to be charged out regardless.
Right. So that's just going to make that more expensive.
It shouldn't make water any more expensive than what it was going to be otherwise.
Okay.
What this could potentially do is the next biggest cost to council is transport, so roading infrastructure, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
And so the biggest gains to be made is by cutting the roading budget.
Oh, good. More potholes.
Potentially.
Yeah, okay.
Depends where the council sees value in do they want to keep libraries open and pools open, or are they prepared to cut those? Or do they want to put up with more potholes? Because something has to give. It's either that or, God forbid, a lot of the councillors that are sitting there now, they literally campaigned on this. They're going to have to increase debt levels. Because you cannot address the infrastructure deficit that undoubtedly exists without investing in that infrastructure. And to do that, you've got to buy concrete and pipes, and they are way more expensive than spinach and things that we buy at the supermarket.
Do you think the councils, so the government have talked about this 2 to 4%, but they have also talked about it only happening from 2029.
Yeah. And
so are we screwed in between now and then that they're going to the councils are going to have to try and get as much rate money out of us between now and then?
So apparently they're going to be watching councils carefully, and Minister Watts has the ability to step in at any time if they get out of hand. Feels that things are getting out of hand. Yeah.
Are you now kind of sitting here going, oh my God, thank God I didn't get onto council because I've got to deal with all of this?
No.
You know, I would be. I'd be like, you can cut that out.
I love local government.
I'd be like, I'll just wait until the next time round, like, 2020, whatever it works out to be, 28, and they might have all this sorted, and then I'd have a crack.
Yeah, potentially. There's a few things that might need fixing up in 2028.
Yeah, well, there could be. Yeah.
There might be people that have decided that's not the job for them, given that the challenges ahead are huge.
Yeah, they are big.
In terms of like, where do we cut our cloth? Those are the big decisions to make. And
we've got a lot of inexperience currently around that table with this humongous piece of work in the next 3 years that's going to need to be done to get ready for this rates cap. It is of concern, and it should be to all of us.
Yep. And I would challenge any of the current experience around the table that thinks that running council is like running a household or a business where you have ingoings and outgoings, because it's not a business.
No,
it's a service provider that's funded predominantly by tax.
Admittedly, before I kind of have talked to quite a few councillors and maybe done these interview series, I would have kind of said, it's like running a business. But I think realistically, there is that part of it, but the other side of it is you have all the legislation rules and all the things that you can't control and the things that you have to provide as service kind of screw that idea up. And Max, I mean, he has gone in campaigning on the fact that I've run successful businesses and I can run the council to be like a business, and if we haven't got the money, we don't spend it. But I don't think he might have understood it, but he certainly didn't make it really clear to the voters that I can actually only do so much because we actually have our hands tied on certain things
so
and part
I
of that is
think
legislation.
What a lot of elected members probably some do realise, and some are going to learn quickly, that being an elected member is you're not a manager.
No.
You're not there to do the management. There are managers in council who are there to figure out how the direction that is set by the elected members is going to be achieved. And the other thing is that being a business owner myself, like when things get tight, I cut overheads and I look at ways that I can reduce my costs.
Well, and you work a bit harder so that you don't have to pay others to do it.
Yeah, but I'm also not trying to invest in 100 years of infrastructure ahead of me.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to meet my obligations under over 200 pieces of legislation. I'm quite nimble, and most businesses are nimble. Councils are not nimble because they're not there to make a profit. They're there to make sure that communities have got everything they need to live in the first world conditions that we're used to. And that requires a huge amount of infrastructure investment constantly.
Yeah.
And even when we claw out of this infrastructure deficit that we're in now, we still need to keep maintaining and working to the future. And there's so many things coming down at us. We won't even touch on the local government reforms.
We'll
right
do a whole
now,
other video on that one.
But the things that are touching into local government are huge. There's global influences, there's climate, there's inequalities, there's the economy that's impacting, there's government policies and populism.
Yeah.
But I mean, are rates caps the answer?
Well done. I was going to bring it back to that, but you did that all on your own.
Yes, I can circle back. Are rates cap the answer? Let's go back to what I love, and that's placemaking and localism, and people being able to have a say about what they want to see happen in their own communities, and being told by central government that you're going to do this like this way or else is the exact opposite of localism.
Yes.
Central government, and I've said it before, they do not understand local government. And I believe that it's overreach, I believe it's populism, and I believe it's the central government not taking responsibility within themselves for helping New Zealanders with the cost of living crisis.
And, we've got a central government election only next year. So next year?
Yeah.
Yep. And they make all these big statements now, but who knows what the government's going to look like when we actually get to the point of 28, 29 when they were thinking of bringing it in. So,
and that's the irony as well, is that a lot of the lobby groups like Taxpayer Union that asked for these rates caps are now angry because the government's not going to be really enforcing it till 2029. And it's like,
well, I mean the council's slow moving. Central government's got to be slower, so they've got to take time to work it out, and then
or do they not really know what they're doing, and so they've just pushed it out as an election issue?
Could well be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like there is a whole nother conversation. There is a council meeting next week, which is their first official one, isn't it? They've had one.
So there's an extraordinary meeting on the 10th.
Oh, that's an extraordinary one.
Yep. And
that's something to do with the new CEO. That's something to do with the new water COO, I believe. They've got things that they had to have in place by then.
The agenda's not on the website yet, but it could be to do with things that need to be settled before other things that need to be.
So for shits and giggles, we might actually go along and watch the council meeting, and then we can do one of these because we
could unpack it.
Yeah, that would be quite fun.
It'd be good if the council had the agenda up already.
Yeah. Oh well, I probably wouldn't read it anyway because it'll be way. Yeah, she would. But I'll go along and have a listen and give you my opinions because I know how much you all value those. There'll definitely be another vid after that one. Cool. So do you think we covered enough on the rates just now?
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole lot.
Question in the comments of.
Yeah, absolutely. As we always say, and I didn't say it really clearly at the beginning, we love engagement, we love comments, just don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, I only had to block 2 people last week.
Yay, good. That's excellent. I didn't block any, so that's good. All right. We're out from the office just now, but you will see us again soon.
Ka kite.